patriotic millionaires want an economy that is structured to naturally deliver the results necessary for a stable and prosperous society. Now we'll hear from some members of the Patriotic Millionaires exactly how to do that. So first up, I'd like to bring John Driscoll to the stage.
God, I'm so excited about Barry's theme that we can control our own destiny. You know, over 100 years ago, my grandparents immigrated to America from Ireland because they believed that America was a place of infinite possibilities. And I believe that's true. I still believe it's true with all of the dark clouds we've talked about. But if we're going to save the America we love, we need to permanently tie the prosperity of American business, which is amazing, to the prosperity of American families. As a CEO, newly minted, I asked my senior staff one question. What would it take to actually pay everyone who works for us a living wage? Let me roll back the tape. I was the CEO, newly minted CEO at CareCentrix, a healthcare services company with employees all over the country. And about a third of our workers were entry level, paying claims, picking up the phones, sorting out IT problems. I joined a company in trouble. We'd grown too fast, sold for too high a price, and we were doing kind of a lousy job taking care of our clients. Our turnover rate, which is the polite corporate word for quitting, was going through the roof. I jumped into a job without really doing my diligence, and I jumped into trouble. We had a lot of fixing to do and very little time to fix it. So one of the things I did is I made sure that I opened my door. The executives were so poorly trusted by the employees that only the executives had keys to the executive suite. And I made sure that everyone could contact me and talk to me. And we ended up with a lot of great ideas on how we could fix the company and do a better job. So I got emails from all over the company. And a lot of them were tied to how we would fix the company. But some of them, and increasingly more of them, were tied to personal challenges of our employees. On a consistent basis, any one of my working class workers, the entry-level folks who were then paid a decade ago $7.25 an hour, still the federal minimum wage, $16,000 a year, my workers would reach out with concerns. They'd end up in a financial crunch. One single mom couldn't pay for the funeral of her child who died in an accident. A young family was burnt out of their apartment through no fault of their own, and they needed some help with raising some money for diapers. There was a single dad his car broke down. He didn't have enough money to fix it, and he needed it in order to get to work. The one that finally drove me right over the edge was from a great customer service rep, well regarded by her peers, who was living out of her car with her daughter and needed a substantial advance to lock down a place to make sure that they had a room to live in. How did we get to a point where the hardworking, company-committed teammates lived less than one paycheck away from being homeless? And every year, with costs going up and minimum wages flat, we were asking our hardest working friends to work harder and harder and earn less, constantly having to run faster and faster up the down escalator of work. After a few conversations with my senior team, we froze executive salaries at the top 20, used that money and squeezed the budget a little bit to bring our $7.25 up to $15 an hour. We made the call that any full-time worker should not have to live on the knife's edge of bad luck, of a surprise medical bill or an engine failure that could push them into poverty. We lifted up our workers and lifted them out of a situation where they probably qualified for food stamps. 4 million people, hard-working full-time workers, are on food stamps right now in America. You're paying for it. Taxpayers are subsidizing poverty wages. I believe that if you think you can't afford to pay someone enough to live on, I don't think you should be in business. If your employees have to live in a semi-permanent state of stress and suffering, you're running a scam. We have to take the lessons that I learned. I honestly think that most businessmen understand, and make a fair, livable wage the law of the land. The only way to reconnect America's fortunes to America's workers is to raise the wage floor and tie it to cost of living for a single adult. There are lots of ways to figure this out. We use data from the MIT Living Wage Calculator. The Patriotic Millionaires propose a cost of living wage, a wage that's based on the median cost of living in the median state in the country, North Carolina. Half of the states in the country are more expensive, half are less expensive. North Carolina's average cost of living for a single adult is $19.93 an hour, which comes out to about $41,000 a year. Let's be honest, folks. America's rich, corporate profits are high, and companies are flush with cash. We can afford to pay the people, and companies can afford to pay a living wage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.